Good morning, guys. This is Prig 1112 or Math 1112 Prig, and we're going to wrap up chapter 2. I believe we should be able to wrap up chapter 2, 2.2. I'm sorry, guys. Um, I will do some problems, but there is a topic in 2.2 that that'll take me a little bit of time. I may not get to it today. I'll show you which one it is, and don't worry, I'm doing it slowly. I will be quite ready to finish these problems. But last class, if you remember, we did this chunk. We'll spend a little bit of time on these two chunks today. Okay, and it's going to take a little bit of time. So that's kind of the plan to work on 2.2. Now, um, let me get rid of this. I don't like to see my face, if you don't mind. Okay, so before we move on and start our class, guys, I'll tell you a couple of important things. All right. If you go to, um, this is our class, course outline. If you go to the assignment manager, let's see what we see. All right, not this one, not this one. If you go to students link and try to find this, give me 1 second, guys. I all assignments. Go to my lab math all assignments. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, so there is a mock test for you. You can take it. It's a mock test. Your test will appear here, and before it will appear on right before the 20th of June, the first test. Okay, I did it here uh, on the Pearson site. That's because you're more familiar with it. You're going to do the homework assignment. It'll look just the same. I don't want to do it on BlazeView. Students complain about entering numbers and they have a difficult time entering it, and that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so right now you have access to 2.1, 2.2, and you have access to this exam. It's a mock exam. You can play with it. I just randomly picked some problems. It's there. Why am I getting ready? Because you will eventually see exam one here, and you're gonna take exam one at the right time. In the announcement, I will clearly mention when the exam one is, but let's go over it, how you would access it. It will show up here, and I will show you again how to access it. So I know we are being recorded, so other students who will watch the video, they will understand. You're going to go to my students link. You're going to scroll down to, not quizzes, you're going to scroll down to My Math Lab, all assignments. And on the 20th, it will be sitting here. And the due date will be the 20th. 20th means June slash 6/20. Okay. And it'll be available for 24 hours. And I know somebody's trying to talk. Please feel free to interrupt. No problem. Just say, here is my question and all that. So this is just here for fun. Okay. You can take it anytime and it's due June 19th. You're not going to get any points on this. That's why it says mock. Okay. Mock means it's not a real exam. You're going to get points for 2.1, points for 2.2. Now, once you take the exam will be available for about 24 hours. You take the exam, it's done, then you can review it. Any questions about where the exam will appear and when it will be given, guys? Any questions? All right, good. So let's go to our math. And last class, we did a bunch of things. What did we do? Let's find out. Give me 1 second, okay? I'm sharing screen. I'm just making sure I'm recording, okay? Um, it's not fun when you don't record, but let me see. Okay, what did we do last class, guys? Last class, we learned about these two triangles. We're gonna incorporate it to trig today. This is something you have seen in high school, I'm sure, but we're going to use it in trig today. So I'm not going to go over the stuff because we have done it. It's this is 45, this is 45. If it's this angle is 90 degrees. If you have a triangle that's isosceles, that means these two sides are the same. This is called the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is going to be 1, and these two sides will be 1 over square root of 2. If you if you have another triangle, sometimes we flip it over, and I have a picture for that too for you guys. They're the same. Sometimes we'll hold it like this. Sometimes we'll hold it like this. Doesn't matter. Okay, they're really identical. What's going on here? I'm going to just deal with this. If this hypotenuse is 1 in both cases, hypotenuses are 1, and the shorter base is going to be half, and this vertical line is going to be square root of 3 over 2. This angle is 30. This angle is going to be 60. Okay? We discussed it. We're going to incorporate trig to it. Another thing I wanted you to remember um, is are actually these, and let's write them down here. You kind of have to know that pi is 180 degrees. And you have to know it. And then from there, we'll go down, divide both sides by 2. And this is going to be 90. So you have to know when you see 90, it should trigger pi over 2. When you see pi over 2, it should trigger 90. Well, what if I divide it by 4? That's also a good one. Pi over 4, sorry, it's going to be 45, so I'm going to write it here. Pi over 4 is 45. Another one you want to remember. Then there is 2 more. Pi over 3, or let's say pi over 6. If you divide 80 by 6, you're going to get 30. And if you divide pi by 3, you're going to get 60. So you really want to know these basic relationships. They're easy to establish because we know pi is 180 degrees, and you'll go back and forth. Sometime you're going to see this, sometime you're going to see this. Now, since I will be using it a lot today, guys, so I'm going to save it here for future reference so that I don't have to type it again. So give me 1 second, okay? All right. Now, any questions, guys? Any questions? Can you explain that again? What did you do there? You can always unmute yourself and all right. So again, guys, chapter 2, I do it very slowly because if you don't understand chapter 2, you're not going to understand anything else. Okay, so bear with me a little bit. All right. Well, today we'll be talking about unit circles. All right. Um, the part that I said we won't be able to get to today will involve non-unit circles, but don't worry about those. All right. So remember, guys, how we define sine, cosine, and all those things? So this is a unit circle. All right. I This whole thing is pi. I cut it into four equal parts. So this is pi over four. Okay. And if you want, I'll be happy to. Okay, I'm using that. So this angle, I'll use this, is pi over four. All right. Why? Because the whole thing is pi. We know it, and I cut it into four equal parts. Each part is pi over four. This is going to be, what about this angle? This is going to be pi over 2 because, let me do it nicely, guys. Make it a little smaller. All right. This is going to be pi over 2. If the whole thing is pi, this is going to be pi over 2. And this is pi, and this is going to be 3 pi over 2, guys. If you start here, we'll always start here. We either go counterclockwise, mostly we'll go counterclockwise. If we do go clockwise, it will be negative. So this angle is going to be, I'm going to write down a few of these. This is going to be, if you guys want to participate, actually, that'll be really nice. This is going to be pi over 2, but 3 times. Okay. All right. So this angle, what I drew is 3 pi over 2. Why? Because it is pi over 2, pi over 2, pi over 2, 3 pi over 2. So anybody wants to volunteer and tell me what the answer should be for this one? If I go, this is pi over 4. If I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What should this angle be, guys, in terms of pi? Anyone wants to tell me? Unmute himself or herself. So let me give you one more example. So it's going to be, if this is pi over 4, whole thing is pi. I cut it into 4 parts. This is pi over 4. This is going to be 1 pi over 4, 2 pi over 4, 3 pi over 4, 4 pi over 4, 5 pi over 4. So this is going to be 5 pi over 4. Hopefully you're getting it. Let me try one more. Let me hide this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if I start here and I stop here, what angle did I make? The answer is this sliver is pi over 4. This is pi over 4. How many times did I do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to say 7 pi over 4. Okay, guys? Now, what I'm really interested in is this, guys, the coordinates of this point. Remember, guys, that little triangle that we used, this triangle. Let me bring this guy here. And this, this based on this triangle, guys, this is a unit circle. All right, this line, I'm just interested in this line for now, is 1 like this. And I'm going to draw a line like so. This triangle here, this little triangle here, okay, the one that I shaded, is just like this. If this is 1, this has to be 1 over square root of 2, and this has to be 1 over square root of 2. I'm going to write it nicely, but this is just the concept that you really want to understand. So I'm going to get rid of this and write it a little better. I'm going to say, you really want to get it. This is 1 over square root of 2. and so is this. What does that mean? These points, this point, the x-coordinate is 1 over square root of 2, and the y-coordinate is also 1 over square root of 2. Let's pause here a little bit, guys, and see if you have any questions based on this triangle. Since the radius is 1, this is 1, just like this, I can make those claims that I just made. And I can now say this point, if this is 1, it'll always be 1 because in trig we deal mostly with unit circles. If we draw a line like this, draw a line like this, and use this triangle, these two sides are this. So this point that's supposed to look blue, I don't know how well you can see it, um, has these coordinates. Right? So these are the coordinates. Excuse me, guys. So this is going to come in very handy. If you don't understand, I can give you the whole formula, I can give you all the books in the world, and you won't do so well. So try to make sure you understand that. And the only piece of good news is you'll have access to all the notes you want. No problem. So this is this point now. But does anybody want to tell me what are the coordinates of this point? The x-coordinate is going to be negative here. I don't have to draw the triangle again. I don't have to worry about this triangle. X-coordinate is going to be negative, and the y-coordinate will stay positive because they are the same, right? Now, using the same argument, I want to know this point. What are the coordinates of this point? Piece of cake. Both x-coordinate and y-coordinate are going to be negative. The values are not going to change, but the sign will. And what about this lot? Now, I don't even need this anymore, but if you guys ask me, I will copy it again. But I'm really interested in those coordinates. What about this one? Anybody wants to tell me what the coordinates of this point should be? X is going to be the same, positive. Y is going to be negative. Okay. These are components of the unit circle. I don't know if you've seen it. Unit circle, let me show you. Actually looks very interesting. There is a famous one. Looks like a piece of art. So we are going to go over, we just did the red ones. Okay. We're going to go over the blue ones. So you can print it, you can have it. Everything we will do will be based on this circle. So if you just don't understand it, you just look at the unit circle, you won't be able to solve the problem. So just be aware of it. I know some of you are thinking, oh, we'll have all the notes. Well, notes won't help you if you don't understand trig. Trig can be a little brutal in that sense. So I have all the coordinates of the 4 points. Let's pause there and see if we have any questions from anyone. All right, guys. So this is about the 45-degree angle, okay? This angle is 45 or pi over 4. Whichever one works for you, you should know both. So now I'm going to grab another unit circle, another triangle, do something very, very similar, okay? So let's see. I am gonna so we have really two cases. So in the first picture, I cut the circle, the whole circle into 8 parts, and the upper half was pi over 4. Now I'm gonna cut the whole circle into 12 parts. Okay, fine. We're gonna get to y and all those things. All right, guys? All right. So we're going to use, okay. So what I did, I took a unit circle, cut it into 12 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, let's go over the angles. This is pi. If I cut it into 6 parts, each sliver is going to be pi over 6. Pi over 6. So pi over 6 is 30 degrees. That makes sense. 30 plus 30 plus 30 is 90. 90 plus 90 is 180. So everything is fine. I didn't mess up. So each sliver is pi over 6. So let's go over some of these. Just like we did with pi over 4, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to say, well, what angle is this? If I start here, I come here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's going to be 8 pi over 6. It's going to be 8 pi over 6. Of course, you can simplify it and say you divide, both are even, so you can divide 8 by 4, 8 by 2, you're going to get 4 pi, and then you're going to divide 6 by 2, you're going to get 3. Okay, so this is how we're going to write it. So the angle that I drew there is 4 pi over 3. Now, that's fine. Let's do one more. Okay, so how about this? I start here, and let's do one that's negative. Okay, remember we keep saying if we go clockwise from here, far did I go? What angle are we talking about? Since it's negative, sorry, since it's clockwise, everything will be negative, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to be 5 pi over 6. Why pi over 6? Because each sliver is pi over 6, and there are 5 of them. And be careful to put your negative sign. This angle is 5 pi over 6. Let's do one that's negative. Okay, one more. I'm going to hide this. Go ahead. If somebody is asking me question or getting ready to, that's totally fine, guys. I can't see you guys, so I don't. In a classroom, you can see the facial expression here. Go ahead.
Okay, baby, I'm in class, baby.
I'm sorry. Are you talking to me?
No, I'm sorry. My mic was
Okay,
on.
no problem. No problem. All right. I thought maybe you had a question. No, no worries. All right, guys. So let's try this one. So I'm going negative. Each sliver is pi over 6. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. So what's my answer? What's the angle? It's going to be 7 pi over 6. And I'm going to do negative. Why negative? Because it's clockwise. Now, I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, please don't be shy. Ask questions. All right. Like before, I'm going to take this guy. Okay, guys. If I twist it around, I can. Nothing changed, right? I'm gonna I'm gonna do it in detail. I'm gonna slide. Let me do one more thing. Okay, I'm gonna slide it, wedge it. W-E-D-G-E. Wedge it like this. Okay, because the hypotenuse is 1, right? Now I know it's not perfect, but you get the point. Okay, I'm gonna wedge it like this. Okay, wedge, W-E-D-G-E, not V-E-G. Okay, so guys, what I want you to see is if this is 1, this line is square root of 3 over 2, and this is gonna be half. Based on that, just like before, I'm going to draw the coordinates of the red point. Don't worry about the green one. Coordinate of this red point is going to be, the coordinates are going to be square root of 3 over 2, comma, 1 half. So this red point, and let me choose a color just so that you know what we're talking about. We use the same circle for 30 degrees and 60 degrees. Okay, so put this here. This pink point. All right. Now I'm going to take this. I want to know the coordinates of this point. I'm going to skip these two. Okay. These two will be discussed when we do 60 degrees. All right. So I'm going to go here just like before. The x coordinate will be negative and the y coordinate will be exactly same as the previous pink dot. How about this one? Okay, if this and this are going to match, right? So they're both going to be negative because it's in the third quadrant. And here, the last one, right here, if this is positive, positive, x is going to remain positive, y is going to be negative. And you have it. So now you know the coordinates. Again, you're thinking, why is it telling us I will have a picture? But if you don't understand the meaning, guys, trust me, you won't be able to do the problems, okay? Though nobody will tell you, look at the picture and copy this. Nobody is going to ask you this. They'll tell you find sine, find cosine, and you'll be totally lost if you don't understand that. So be aware of that. So we labeled these 4 points, and the next slide, well, in a couple of minutes, we'll label these other 4 points using this picture, the same circle, and a version of the same triangle. Here's what I'm thinking, guys. I'm going to give you guys a couple of minutes to ask questions, but my session will run out in 7 minutes. I'm going to jump out and I'm going to come back, but there's no rush. Let's see if we have any questions on this. All right, guys. Let's jump out of this session. I don't want it to shut us down in the middle. I can actually barely squeeze in the next topic, but let's jump out and come back really fast using the same link, and you guys know that. Bye-bye. See you soon in a second.